It's not as... Damn you, Leo. Okay, people, I'm going to attempt to do this. If it doesn't come out, you'll have to forgive me. You'll also have to forgive the background noise. I'm in my actual toy room where I do most of my painting. You can hear the air conditioner, you can probably hear the TV, probably kids running around. What I'm going to do here is, I don't like the mask on Leo's head. There's no definition to the brow, that kind of thing. So I'm going to attempt to paint Raph's mask to make Leo's head better. Now, there was some comments about the mask changing in the first place. No. Yeah. This does match here, and I understood that and all, but this also matches, is a close match to Mikey's head with Leo's mask. There's a match to Donnie's mask, or Donnie's face, the mouth open, kinda, you know. My point is, you can change the masks around, but they weren't locked into one facial expression for, you know, the whole movie. So any face is fine with any mask. That's all I'm saying. So don't give me any crap. This is definitely going out. I mean, he looks surprised compared to the others who are, you know, either neutral or angry neutral. This is like, and then you have Leo in the middle, just, you know, kind of looking scared for some reason. So try Raph's mask. Get the eyes painted in it, get it blue, see what happens there. So I've already primered it. I just shot primer through the airbrush. You can still kind of see red here and there. But most of it's going to be hidden when the top of the head and the bottom of the head's glued on. So we're just going to worry about the eyes and what can be seen. For primer, I use just, you know, Model Master Acryl gray primer. This is what I use on eyes most of the time. I don't like stark white for the eyes. It draws too much attention to that point. I like something that blends in, you know, with the whole paint job itself. So gray kind of neutralizes that. And I'm going to come in with some gloss black. I'm not going to get too fancy with pupils and all that kind of stuff because it's the turtles. For now, I wanted to just match this, but be closer to the movie with bigger pupils, because you can see they kind of fill, the pupils kind of fill, you know, the space. There's not a lot of white. So I'm going to see what I can do there. I haven't tried this yet, so we'll see what happens. Now, my method for painting eyes is a little backwards from everybody else's, or professionals even. Most people will block in everything and then come in and paint the eyes. I come in first to paint the eyes, and I'm doing this over the camera, so I'm getting kind of funky with it. The good thing about this is that I can come back in, and I usually do have to come back in and clean up a lot, because you can see how shaky I am. I want big circles. Now you want big circles that cover a lot of space, because we're trying to fill up a lot of the... That's okay. I'll come back in, cover that up. This also allows me to go outside the lines, where I'm going to come back and clean up. Again, I'm doing it over the camera, so it's kind of funky. Great, I nailed one, screwed up the other. Okay, you can see here, I've come in with the primer again and kind of cleaned up the black that I got fudged all over the place. And this is looking terrible. So I'm going to come in with the primer again. I'm going to kind of bring it down, kind of get it back into a shape that I want. And the thing about this, it kind of blends the eye together. You can also see how shaky I am. So this usually takes a couple of attempts. Your other biggie is wanting to come in and make it them even. So I've got a good, I think I have good positioning here. So I'm gonna go back to the black. The circle's gonna be bigger. Man, I hate deep sunk eyes. If I'd painted around, I'd be painting all over my blue, that kind of thing. Right now, as is, I can come in, I can slop it in, and then I'll just block it in later. And like I said, this is backwards from most people. But I'd rather do the eyes a few times than actually have to do a whole skin tone all over again, because that's just terrible. Well, I say that, a skin tone on, if I were painting regular figure eyes. And the biggest problem is getting them even. Getting them the same size. It's a constant stop and start. And I always get one that I like and the other I hate. So that's just the way it ends up. Okay, so I've got them pretty even. Don't get me wrong, I know what you're saying. They look like crap. That's because I've got it smudged up on the top. I've got it dropped down here. I'm going to come back in with the primer, clean that up, because the black will show right through the blue. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, touch this up. Awesome. My brush is split. That sucks. Twist, twist, twist. Come back here. Clean that up. Clean that up. Now it may take a couple of coats of primer covering black, so that's okay. And like I said, usually for me, this is a lot of trial and error. I'll paint something, paint over it, repaint it again, paint over it. It just takes a little time, which is why I don't paint a lot anymore, because I don't have a lot of time. But at the same time, it's really not that hard. I used to psych myself out more than anything. So I bet that wasn't in focus the whole time, was it? And you're not looking for totally round. I mean, this close in HD, right up in your face, but back on a shelf, it's gonna look good. So I'm gonna get the blue ready. I'm using French blue, again, Model Master Acryl. This is probably not a perfect match, but it's right out of the pot. Luckily, it's the only thing that's blue on Leonardo, so it doesn't have to match anything, even if it doesn't match the original color. Just gonna come in, hit the high spots. Thankfully, it's covering pretty good. Probably take 2 coats here. Again, kind of shaky. I'm usually right up in my own face with this, but with the camera in the way. Now I'm not going to come up and under. I'm just going to come down enough to cover what is going to be showing. Because with this one, I'm going to glue it down. Raph's mask, the way Raph's mask is made, well, I should say the way Leo's mask is made, it's flatter than the rest, so it doesn't want to fit on any of the other faces easily. So and back here you get to just slop, so I'm not going to show that right now. I'll do that off camera and then come back with the thing, but right now we're just going to hit the eyes. And here comes the nerve-wracking part, because you don't want to get up in the eye. You want to leave the line underneath. You just want to hit the mask. Again, deep sockets makes for a pain in the ass to paint, but the good thing about it is the turtles thankfully have big eyes. Now French blue comes out a little shiny. That's okay, I'm going to be hitting it with dull coat after. In fact, when I primed this, I hit it with dull coat even after the primer, just to make sure it was, you know, solid base. And that's okay. Sometimes I don't even prime, I just hit it with dull coat and paint over that if I'm using, you know, dark colors. And that works because the dull coat gives it a tooth, something for the paint to stick to. It's just quick and dirty, guys. I know it's not pretty. I don't water down my paints or anything. I usually move fast enough to. Plus, Model Master, it's good about not clumping up, and brush strokes, that kind of thing, kind of self-levels, so I don't want to get too crazy either, because I'm going to be pushing down pretty hard to get this to glue down. I'll have to force it down a little bit because of, like I said, Leo's mask doesn't have as much bend as the rest of them, so it doesn't really want to come all the way down on the nose part. If you look at the review of me switching masks, you can see the gap. Maybe he's slightly looking to the right, which is okay. I can work with that. I sometimes like figures not to have, you know, exact, straightforward looks. It gives them kind of character, especially movie figures like this. I'm just going to slop the blue on the rest of this, and then I'll be back. Okay, that looks pretty good. Right, for our purposes here, what I did was come in with a big brush, kind of a fan brush. It's wet now, so it looks like crap. But come in with a fan brush, hit it, slop it on, and then come back with the same brush, heavy, and it just goes on clean. So I've got kind of a white spot up in the corner of this eye. And like I said, I ended up with the eyes looking slightly to his right. I'm gonna have to buy a stand someday, but that's okay. Like I said, movie figures, it gives it kind of character to have the eyes looking off to one side. I'm good with that. I am gonna come in and touch up the doing the eyes. I got blue down in the black. See? Right there. Like I said, back and forth until you get what you want. Something you like. And I'm usually painting this inches from my face, so there is that. I'm okay with this. This is just quickie, dirty. I'd almost like to come back in and do the whites again, but I could go back and forth all night. Now, since I did use gloss black for the pupils, but since I'm going to be dull coating, I'm going to lose most of that. Dull coat, I love it. Comes in, balances everything out, makes it look almost toy-like, but so I like to fake the glint in the eye. And you see that with toys toys a lot. They have the white spot in the eye to denote, you know, a light source of some kind. A little realism, I guess. to toy eyes, first I'm going to come in and touch up that corner that that's going to drive me nuts. It already drives me nuts that they're not perfectly circle, but I'm not taking the time to actually get all perfectionist on you. It's just a slight touch. Right there. And that kind of opens up the eye a little bit more, makes it more even. Now for the glints of the eye, I come in with, I do use the white. Same Model Master again. I seem to have a lot of this. This is also good. You're painting 6-inch scale. You have tiny little eyes you're painting on a figure. And you kind of don't have it exactly even. You know what I mean? The iris is off from the pupil, or the black in the middle of the color inside the darker color. What you're going to do is come back with a glint. And when you add this, it kind of hides a lot of stuff. And that's not cheating. That's improvising. That is improvising. I don't like this brush. I was going to use this tiny brush, but it flattens out too easy. I need something that comes to a point. So I'm going to go back to my handy dandy one that keeps splitting that I need to replace someday. What you're going to do is just touch it. And you want them to match on both sides. And I apologize. I don't want to miss. Even if you don't get a perfect circle, you want it to match on the other side. And I do this every time. I should learn that I need to reload the brush before the second hit, because it needs to match the first one. So, and gloss was a bad choice for black because it's hard to see where you're hitting. Yep, I touched the black, or I touched the blue. So you have the matching ones on each side. Again, it's not perfect, but for purposes of me reaching out almost arm's length to get around the camera, you get the idea. So I'm gonna go dull coat this, and we'll see what it looks like, and I'll put it together when I get back. Okay, I've got it all dull coated, and it looks better. I mean, I say better. It's not as shiny as it was, that kind of thing. It's not perfect, but like I said, quickie. Compared to the old one, it's not a perfect match, but I kind of like my blue better. It's not as, I don't know, there's kind of a purple tinge to this, which is actually movie, this is, my printer sucks, but the toy is still brighter than the, actual, but what are you gonna do? It's blue. Who cares? It's Leo. Let's do this. Okay. Here we go. Like I showed in the other video, the mask just pops off. Now, I'm going to use Leo's bottom mouth, but I'm going to use the top of Raph's head that came with this one, because, it matches. So I'm going to put this here, and see how it gaps right there? Right above the bridge of the nose. I'm going to attempt to glue it down to where you can't see that anymore. And hopefully it'll change the mask just enough to not, where you can't look at it and go, oh, that's Leo's mask. So let's see what happens. First though, I'm going to scrape some of the paint off here. That way it'll stick. Okay. Activator. See if I can get it in there. I don't know exactly what this stuff is, but it kind of cleans the plastic and gets it ready for super glue. And I'm probably going to put quite a bit of super glue on it. Being careful not to hit the paint. Because I'm not sure if this is an acetone or not. Glue. I'm just going to go with the front and the back. I'm going to squeeze it down, keep that down tight. Oh, come on, baby, don't glue to me. And there you go. It's put together. Looks pretty good. Still have a slight gap, but that can be fixed. I'm probably going to pull it back apart, trim the sides you saw here. Maybe trim these down where this will sit down further. See, he just doesn't have the arc, but this looks much better. And there you go. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever you guys do, you crazy bastards. And I'll see you on the Fwoosh.